Hey y'all, welcome back to the Team LoCoFit Roundtable with myself, Lauren Conlon, awkward as always, Ryan Conley, our training director, and assistant coaches, Jillian, Karina, and Lauren. Always mess that intro up, but in any case, we are here, and we are actually going to be talking about some of our favorite foundational habits. So I think that it's really important to touch on things like foundational habits because a lot of people will get into a new diet or a new training protocol or anything like that, and they think that they can only live their life with these like certain rules and whatnot, right? And then if anything kind of deviates from that plan, they then crumble and then don't know how to actually act. Like they don't know how to actually, go to the gym unless they can do their perfect programming certain times a week. They can't eat on their diet, air quotes, if you're not watching, if they don't have exactly the certain foods or whatnot, right? So it's really important to actually build these foundational habits that you have every day in your life, regardless of what type of diet you're doing, regardless of what type of training you're doing, because this is going to actually enable you to, live your life as a healthy person. And we're going to loop back to it at the end, but we do have a new book coming out all on this. So we're not going to talk about the actual book necessarily in the different habits that we have, but we are going to each talk about one foundational habit that we think that is really key for ourselves and our clients. So normally I start, which gives me the benefit of the doubt that I'm not going to have to think on my toes, but I'm going to let somebody raise their hand and go first before me. So who wants to go? Don't all go at once. Okay. Normally everybody's like, bam, 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 pick me. Oh shit, we're talking to each other. And then it was like,
all the possible ideas just left my brain.
Solid. Yeah, Jill's on a focus blend of new topics is her foundational habit, so you don't have forgetfulness.
Yeah, just brain farts everywhere.
Okay, Karina, what was yours?
We're good. Just waiting for the last. So I think for me, what really helps is the one thing I think about, no matter where I am, because this happened to me a lot over the past year. I did a lot of traveling and I couldn't get to the gym all the time. But it's really helpful with the fact that like my significant other, Chris, is someone who is very good at this. So it kind of rubbed off on me. Doesn't matter like if there is no gym around, if it's like 5 a.m. or 10 p.m. For me, my foundational habit is I have to do some sort of exercise, whether it is just like sprints outside or like a very short little Metcon daily. Except for maybe if I like need a rest day. But even if it's just like 10, 15 to 20 minutes of some sort of exercise, that is going to help me kind of like not feel like I just went on vacation or I just spent a whole week with family eating whatever, and now I feel kind of totally out of it. Making sure that I do like, if you can't get to a gym, at least some sort of cardio every single day, just some sort of movement. Doesn't even have to be like intentional cardio, is a definite foundational habit for me. Exercise in general is something that I feel like I can't go without. I would definitely classify myself as like an exercise addict, and it's really hard for me to like do deloads or like take rest days and stuff like that. But it is helpful when I am like not in my normal environment and not on my normal foods, or I can't hit, my diet to the T, to at least have that foundational habit, like at least get some sort of movement, 10 minutes, like minimum of something like very hard, like a HIIT cardio or a Metcon that I write on Mondays, something like that. No matter what. And I think that even if it's short, if it's intense enough, it can, be enough for that day. And something that I will tell my clients is like, it doesn't matter what circumstance you're in. All you can do is make it work within that certain circumstance. And that's all I ask. And I think about the same thing for myself. Like, well, I can't get to a gym. I don't have a car with me. I can at least like go outside, do like some burpees and jump squats and some sprints, and that's all I can do given my current circumstance, and that's all I can ask of myself. So overall, in general, is like some sort of exercise or activity every day.
And that's going to help when you get back too, because basically what happens with a lot of people is if they are in situations that are less than ideal, and those situations kind of build up on each other, they're like, oh, whatever, oh, whatever, oh, whatever. And then it becomes like, oh, whatever month. And then all of a sudden now you've accumulated basically not doing anything. So I think that even, just staying active is really helpful. Of course, best case scenario, you're getting to a gym, you're sticking to your plan. But if you can't do that, it's key to actually just continue to move. Lauren, what was yours?
So I was going to say something that I think can translate both in season and off season, and something that I recommend for clients as well is, regardless of if you're at home, you're traveling, whatever, just kind of being aware of your protein. So I always like to make sure that I have some protein powder like in a bag with me. So you never know what's going to happen. Maybe there's a famine. Who knows? You got your protein powder. So
I like
just spontaneous famine,
I just watched it last night. I just watched Zombieland last night. It was so good. Okay, sidebar over. It was so funny.
The new one or the second? The new one or the old one?
The old one.
Okay.
There's a new one?
Yeah, there's the second one came out.
Hey, fuck me, guys.
Okay, sorry. Sidebar over.
Jesus. So I like to prioritize protein always, even in the off season, which we've touched on in other podcasts before, because that is often something that slips, especially I think in the off season when your carbs start to come up, your fat starts to come up, you kind of lose sight of the protein. And it's good because if something happens with your schedule and you're not able to get to the gym exactly when you thought, like, you can at least make your pre-workout shake or whatever the case is, and it's easy to travel with. So if I know I'm going to be gone a couple of days, I'll just put out, instead of bringing a fucking tub with me in my suitcase, just put it in separate baggies, put it in your bag, and you're good to go. So that's super easy. And then I like to have both the Formula One and the Level One, just depending on if I am going to be working out. I'll use the Formula One, and then if I just need something that's going to like get me through the next meal or whatever, I'll use the Level One from First Form. So that's been something that I like to suggest to clients, and especially people that have trouble hitting their protein goal, because that's something that if you're out and about and you go get like a yogurt or whatever, you're making oatmeal, like you can just pour that into it and get some extra protein. So I find that to be a very simple, easy thing to incorporate. And even just if you are going to eat relatively soon after, I just had a conversation with a client about this, even if you are going to eat relatively soon after a workout, maybe just bringing it with you in the car to make a shake really quick afterwards to get that extra protein serving if you have trouble hitting that goal. So that's my favorite.
Did anything come to your brain, Jillian?
Yeah, I'm just going to raise my hand like I'm in class again. May I speak? Anyway, usually the first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to like foundational habits, it's always going to be like organizing and planning ahead. I've just always been a list writer. I've always written out like what I'm doing for the day, or I'm doing this at this time, and kind of working my schedule around whatever I have going on. So I always have an idea at the beginning of the week where like my time's going to be going, and things do come up here and there, but for the most part, I know when I'll be training, I know when I'll be on campus, I know when I'll have, X, Y, and Z, or what my meals are going to look like. I always have some kind of idea ahead of time. And I think that's really, not that it's underrated, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand like the importance of really planning things out and being prepared ahead of time. And it really does set you up for success long-term when you do account for that and spend the time, or even like the few extra minutes a day or at the beginning of the week to really like block out when you're going to be training and when you're going to be working and when you're going to make your meals. So that for me has always been like a constant, and that I find myself talking a lot about that with my clients.
Yes, that is so important, especially if people are kind of new to this. They're new to whatever they're doing right now, right? And that might be like a completely different thing to them. You have to kind of plan the non-negotiables. You have to plan gonna go to work, I gotta sleep, I gotta, train, gotta do this. Like, how are you gonna fit everything in? And having some kind of schedule and, to-dos is really helpful. Now, I do think that people can get super bogged down with like certain time blocking. Like certain people are gonna be like more not saying that what you were talking about was, but like if you see some people and they like don't think you have to have like this perfectly color coded like time block thing, it doesn't have to be like that. It can literally be super simple and just picking the most important like 5 things that you need to do that day and kind of knowing when you're going to hit them. That way you actually get them done, because if you just kind of aimlessly go through things, you're not going to plan, you know, when to go to the grocery store. You're not going to plan when you're going to get your food together. You're not going to plan when to train, and then you're like, oh shit, it's Thursday already. I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Right. What's yours? Also, the lighting is like really throwing me off. It looks like you're like have no eyes and you're sleeping. It's really creeping me out. Just say, like, I literally thought you were asleep the whole time. I was like, this is kind of weird.
That's the point.
You caught me.
He's like, damn it.
I tried to make it look less weird, but whatever. I guess I just have like the possessed eyeballs that are like all black.
Well, it's the lighting, babe. It's like the weird overhead light and then the light behind you. So it's just like it's just a shadow.
It's honestly not a good look.
You're the shadow.
Sorry.
Full circle.
I'm not a professional photographer / lighter, so you're going to deal with what I look like, and you're going to like it.
Yeah. I love it.
So foundational habit, I was going to say protein, but thanks, Lauren. And so I started thinking more along the lines of training wise, and I always know what I'm going to do when I go to the gym. I always have some kind of idea what the training week is going to look like. I have an idea what the training month is theoretically going to look like, or what the intentions are for that like mesocycle. So more on like a daily aspect though, like I look over the training for the day, make sure that I understand what is asked that day. Like, is it a hard day? Is it a lighter day? What exercises am I doing? Am I going to the right gym, or do I have the right equipment or the right people around me to execute those goals properly that day? And how do I feel really? Like, do I need to get there early so I spend more time stretching because the training day prior to that beat me up more so than normal? So really just making sure that I've organized and set time aside appropriately for visualizing and walking, maybe even doing like a mental walkthrough of the training program and like knowing what I'm doing that day. So that I think that helps you get into the gym, understand the plan, and just get rolling immediately instead of being like, whoa, what am I doing today? Does that sound familiar to anybody down there?
Are you talking about me?
Attacked.
I feel really attacked.
The guy with no eyeballs is personally attacking all of us. All right, so my foundational habit is having the ability to eat out or eat anywhere that you're put into. And I think that this is so critical. So obviously we're not talking about somebody who's doing a competition prep a few weeks out from a show. If that's you, you should be prepared with your food. But for anybody else outside of that circumstance, you should and can eat out and make that fit part of your lifestyle. What people often forget is that they get to choose what they get to eat when they go out. And every time you go out to eat, you don't have to get a double cheeseburger with all the toppings and fries and a milkshake. Now, you could, Ryan's not happy about that. But now I'm personally attacking him. Now, I'm not saying you can't ever get that either. That's not the point. But the point is, if you're going to be thrown into situations where you need to eat out a lot, whether it's with your work, whether it's with your family, whether it's your travel schedule, all of these things, I've literally had to eat out so many times over the course of my preps that I became basically like masterful at it almost, because with all the travels and things of that nature, like you just can't not do it, right? And there's no excuse really to fall off plan when in reality you can totally stick to it. It's just all about your choices. So a lot of it is going into it thinking, okay, if I was eating a meal that I had prepped, what would I eat? Like, what would my choices be? Like, how do I start with protein? I'm going to start with the vegetable side, and then, okay, what else am I going to get? And kind of portion it from there. And that takes a lot of time to learn, but it's totally possible to literally eat out every single meal and still lose weight and still have a healthy body comp. So don't let that kind of throw you off. And I know that it's really easy to, because a lot of us just want everything to be like in this certain perfect way all the time. Duh, a lot of us are like that. But if you are so rigid that you can't learn to eat out or do different things, you're not going to be successful long-term. Promise. So to wrap it up, also, I can pretty much watch any movie and like not care. But like if it's stupid, but honestly, I felt like Zombieland was like so stupid that it was almost
hold your mouth, hold your tongue.
I was like,
Is there a way I can kick Lauren out of the chat?
Yeah, you definitely can.
What is zombie?
Like, can I just mute your like little box over there?
YouTube?
I love stupid, funny movies, but like it was good. But like, babe, I think that you think you're Woody Harrelson in like a zombie apocalypse. You're, like personally identified with him so hard that you loved it. So, like,
Oh, it's a great movie.
if we have a zombie apocalypse, Ryan is going to be Woody Harrelson. Everybody just know in that.
Yeah, do you remember me at the axe throwing place? I was killing it.
I know. So I think that's why
I love that. Oh
I
my
know.
god, I'm so good at it.
axe throwing.
Me?
Of course you
Me and
are.
Killian are ready.
Like literally, of course, Jill's good at it.
I got like 6 bullseyes in a row. I was like, not in a row, but 6 bullseyes total. I was like, okay, my new sport.
And your lamb lung, like
Yeah.
I don't.
So many questionable things, but
Very
it's okay.
strange over there.
Oh, I see what you guys are saying. I just caught on to that.
Yeah. You just going on that you're like a serial killer in the making.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, watch Zombieland at your own discretion. I don't know, not my favorite, but you guys can go ahead. But in any case, those are just a few of our favorite kind of foundational habits. And I think it's so important to have these because you are going to be put in situations that are not perfect, not ideal. And if you can't learn to overcome them and be flexible, you're never going to be successful on no matter what program that you're in. And this is coming from people who do some of the arguably strictest forms of, you know, prepping, whether it's dieting or training or whatever. Like all this takes a lot of time and we still are flexible within that, obviously to some degree. Like there's certain things that you can't be flexible on, you just have to get it done, but there's other things that you have to be able to moderate. So we did create a whole book around this for that reason. So we were finding that with a lot of our clients, a lot of people just struggle with this, especially in the beginning, especially if you haven't been doing this for a while. And even if you have been doing this for a while, a lot of people actually get into kind of like this weird rut where they only follow certain things and then they don't really even know kind of the foundational habits to step back. So we did create a whole book called The Foundations of Food Education. Hair flip, love that title. And I do think that it's going to be really, really helpful for people. So we've combined all of our knowledge, all of our expertise, and put it into one book that will be releasing. Once this podcast comes out, it'll be releasing like in less than a week. So we will be talking about that on our social media. So just check out teamlocofit.com, go to the program section. You will see the whole ebook lineup and it will be there. So really excited, you guys. We'd love actually to hear about your favorite foundations too. Like you're just, everybody has their different foundational habits. So if you listen to this, comment on, the YouTube video or send us a message because, we can always learn new things and share with people. And that's really how everybody kind of develops these things. Like you learn it through experience and then you also kind of share with individuals. So do you guys have any other closing remarks as far as foundational habits go? Yes.
Survive the apocalypse, watch Zombieland.
Listen, if a zombie apocalypse coming, I'm killing myself first and foremost. There is no way, I'm not even trying to survive it. Like, that is just so stressful.
I'm dressing up as a zombie on Monday.
Stop it.
You're going to accidentally get shot like Bill Murray.
Dude, that was the worst. Oh my God, I was not ready.
I was like, no!
I love him. That was so sad. I was not expecting that.
I was like, how dumb can you be to dress up as a zombie in the zombie apocalypse? Okay.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was kind of smart, actually.
Like, you know what I feel like doing? I feel like getting shot today. Let me just...
I mean, yeah, I see the pros and cons of his thinking. So in any case, guys, that was our podcast for the week. Let us know if you have any questions. 10-star review, 10-star review gang is where it's at. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.